Good evening. I'm calling to order the meeting of the Southborough Zoning Board of Appeals for Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Participating remotely as possible through our virtual meetings on the Town of Southborough link. All right, so first item we have on our agenda is a public hearing for 150 Corderville Road, Blue Sky Utilities, special permit to allow multiple uses on one lot. Read the public notice.
You got it. Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
All right. The Board of Appeals of the Town of Southborough will hold a public hearing in the McAuliffe Hearing Room, 17 Common Street, Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 at 7:00 p.m. with regard to the petitions of Blue Sky Utility LLC, 150 Corderville Road, Southborough, Mass. The petitioner is seeking a special permit to allow multiple uses on one lot. The property is located in the industrial district, and relief is requested under section 174-8C2 and section 174-9.
Yep.
Shannon, feel free to pull a chair up too if you need to. Rearrange the furniture.
If you could, before you begin, just make sure you identify yourself and either your address or your role in the project.
Okay, so, well, good evening to you, honorable board members, and thanks for giving us the time today just to address you. My name is Charles Jenkins. I reside in North Andover, Massachusetts. I represent Blue Sky Utility, which is a subsidiary of NOFAR, publicly traded global sustainable renewable energy developer. What we wanted to address you about today is the battery energy storage systems. So BESS is the code word. They're primarily designed for what they call peak demand response. And that means that, as an example, say in August, we're having a heat wave. Everybody goes home, turns on all their air conditioners, their gaming devices, their appliances, what have you. And it puts a tremendous amount of stress on the infrastructure of the utility. So they get brownouts and on occasion blackouts and that kind of thing. So the general response to that strain is to reach out to what they call peaker plants, which start up generators to take up the slack and to help them on that strain. However, most of these traditionally have been diesel generators, which, as we know, are combustion that give off harmful greenhouse gases, fumes, sound, loud sounds, and so forth. So it's detrimental to the community, and it destabilizes your local utility grid. What happens here is that during the day, there's excess power that's being produced. It gets stored in these batteries. And then during those times when they need the peak demand periods, they can draw off the battery to subsidize, as opposed to starting up the peaker plants. In addition, I think something that should always be brought to attention to everyone is that if there were to be an emergency situation, how about an example that we have a power outage regionally here? You can utilize these batteries to help keep hospitals up and going and to keep your municipal buildings here so you can serve and respond to the emergency at hand. And so those are some of the other benefits. Some other points I can bring up real quick. Some of the things that also should be pointed out is that if these are, these will help prevent costly utility upgrades that ultimately gets paid, comes to the taxpayer to do those upgrades. And that's one of the one of the benefits as well. The I guess those are most of the highlight points that we have here. I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm sure you don't want to go on and on. You want to go home and have dinner. So lastly, there's obviously revenue opportunities here for the community. Jobs, taxes, et cetera, that will help benefit the community at large.
Okay. I mean, I would say we probably have a lot of questions. I mean, typically we have like a presentation of why we need to do this, but I mean, I attended the planning board meeting remotely on Monday night, and the planning board got a lot of information from Matt Braccio. His sort of view of it was, he's installed a lot of them. There's lots of safety measures in there. That's probably what I'm going to have the most questions about. I know our fire department and board of health have concerns, but we typically, I want to allow the board to ask questions, and then we'll see if anybody from the public wants to ask questions. So start down at the end, Jamie.
Should we also introduce?
Oh, yes, if you
Yeah.
could, please.
All right. So I'm Jen Crawford. I'm involved in the project as the civil engineer. Our office is based in Hudson, New York, so upstate New York. I'm also a volunteer firefighter. I take this very seriously. There are a lot of materials that we have to present to you, to the health department, the fire department. We have already consulted with the fire department and are looking forward to continuing those conversations.
Okay.
Mind if I?
Do, please.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Shannon Boyce, I'm the permitting manager from Capital Group Properties. We are the managing agent for 150 Cordoville Road LLC. Before the questions, do you mind if I give you the overview of the application and our points to that?
Yes,
Yes,
go
thank
ahead.
you. All right, perfect. So landlord, owner of 150 Cordoville Road is generally in support of this application. We think it'll be an amazing addition to the town. We think the benefits, they sound amazing, really do. As far as the property itself, it's within the industrial district. This use is an allowed use in the industrial district by special permit, as you know. The property itself is not abutted by any resident or not immediately abutted by any resident or any residential building. The best facility is going to be situated on the southwestern portion of the site, adjacent to the building itself. I want to address Melissa Danza's letter. I also gave her a call and spoke with her. So the 146 Cordoville OOCs, they don't apply here. They're not attaching to the solar panels or any of the infrastructure there. So I spoke with her about that and we agreed on that. As for the 150 OOC, I do intend to attend the conservation meeting and discuss that with her, because that order of conditions is based on the eastern portion of the land where there's some wetlands and some vegetative buffer, which is on the other side of the building.
Right.
So this little best facility isn't going to be encroaching on that buffer in any way.
Right.
As far as what we're anticipating for the building itself, we don't see any disturbance to our tenants or to the everyday use of the building. We're not anticipating any increase in traffic, no increase in noise levels or light levels. This is a facility that is unmanned. It's only maintained 1 to 2 times a year. So it's a very low use, I guess you would say, in that respect. So we're not anticipating any real disturbance as far as those are concerned. We are, as I said, we are very supportive of this application.
Okay. And just to add a little bit more, I'd say color.
Mhm.
I mean, these are what we're talking about. These are completely contained units, right? You have, and weatherproof, right? So with a lot of monitoring equipment in there, and we can probably talk about that a little bit more.
Mhm.
But as I understand it, it's basically a giant battery. You have to monitor it for temperature, conditions of the batteries. I have to say, I work for Analog Devices, who makes battery management systems that go into a lot of Teslas. So I get the concept.
Mhm.
But it is really this is all self-contained.
Yes,
All these containers are there,
yes.
power's going in, but it's really just like a giant capacitor holding it until you need it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps at all for anybody else. Maybe not. Maybe I'm
So
just
to
speaking
your
to.
point, though, is that there are robust and redundant monitoring systems to measure the general heat,
Mhm.
prevent that type of any heat runaway, and would shut down the whole facility.
Right.
So
Very good.
that's really, really well thought out. And recently, we've moved away from the Chinese-made batteries in lieu of US-made.
Okay.
And there's,
But these are still
cost more.
lithium ion, correct?
Sorry?
Lithium
Yes,
ion?
yes. However, what we found, I think the silver lining to that is we find that the monitoring, the testing, and the safety regulations are much clearer, more, intense. And that brings a lot of peace of mind, if you will, because
Right.
you have well-documented testing and results that we
Okay.
can pass to the fire departments.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Jamie?
Sure. I have a few questions. First, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm kind of just curious. So someone like National Grid would contract with this Blue Sky utility and say, you're our backup, right? Should we need to tap into your battery if there was a brownout or something like that? Am
Right.
I understanding that?
So that's
Accurately?
close. yeah.
Okay.
We develop, own, and operate the system,
Right.
and then we have an agreement with National Grid for that type of,
Is it grid or do you bid on the market, the ISO
we work with the grid.
contract with grid?
And so not just, it could be any number of companies that you work with to tap into that battery system is what you're saying. That's the business model.
We generally, we work with the local utility that's here in town.
Okay, and that's it.
Right, but
Oh.
if we worked in another part of the state, for instance, where an Eversource would be.
Yeah, no, I
contracting
got
with
that.
Eversource, yeah.
Okay. I read about if the battery does, God forbid, catch fire, what a huge kind of problem that could cause. How often are you seeing that? But even before you get to that point, have there been any studies, just even if everything's running perfectly, if there's an impact on people's health or even, I don't know, other
So,
electrical systems?
Yeah, I mean, we, during normal operations, there's no gas emissions, there's no use of water or discharge of water. So from that perspective, there's no impact to the environment during normal operations. We have a nice architectural fence to screen the system, and we can provide, sound data as well. In the unlikely, or, I think in the grand scheme, unlikely, but we do have to plan for that case, an emergency situation. I would say that the information we received from Chief Quintini is very consistent with what's in our typical emergency response plan. To provide a little bit of context, so it mentions a 300-foot initial evacuation distance. That's actually the exact same evacuation distance that the emergency response guide recommends for, let's say, a propane tank leak, right? And our test data shows that in the testing that we did do, the duration of the fire itself extinguished in under 12 hours. That's very similar to, I've personally had experiences of babysitting a propane tank for 12 hours. We had to wait for the pressure to release before we could finish excavating it. So it is another instance of a high energy concentration, but it is very similar in many ways to the built environment that we live in today.
Okay. I think that my last question for now is there a setback or buffer issue here? I couldn't quite
That's
follow.
not what we're here for today. In the concept plan we provided, we are planning to maintain the 50-foot front yard setback. I think today we're really focusing on having the right to have 2 uses on the site. And we're not seeking like the permit for the battery now. We still have to coordinate with Conservation
Yeah.
Commission.
I see.
Fire.
We still have to get an ESS permit from the fire department. I understand we still need to do site plan approval.
Correct.
Um,
Yes.
So there's a lot
Yeah,
of other
there's,
things.
there's,
that we
there's
know
other
are
hoops
ahead
to
of
go
us.
through. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just gonna add, the conservation has to hear this.
Right.
So those are legitimate
Yeah.
concerns, but
yeah.
it's probably best to.
Okay.
We'll
That's it for
probably,
me.
we'll answer to those through the process. I
yes.
think all those will be answered for you
Mhm.
as we move forward.
Is that
Yes.
Paul?
I actually don't really have any questions. I'm following along. I find it very interesting. And like I said, I know this is the first part of the process. And then a lot of the, I guess, thoughts, concerns are what gets vetted through conservation, Board of Health, public safety. So
Mhm.
I'm okay with questioning.
Doris?
Um, I'm just have a question, and it's relative to the letters we've read from Fire Department, Health Department. You had said earlier that the solar panels themselves are not going to, although they could be, the solar panel field that's right next to it
Oh.
isn't a proposed use whatsoever for these batteries.
Yeah, we have no lease with them to connect to our solar panels.
Right, two separate aspects.
Correct.
It just because of, I really like this idea. All my biggest concern, of course, is safety. And I have read in health and I've read it's very low risk, but why that site? Because that site, it's just from a pragmatic, not an engineering perspective, that site is Route 9, Route 85. Someone could jump the barrier, hit the, I mean, I know it's low risk, but that is a very, it doesn't have neighbors, but it does have commercial neighbors. Did it have to be that tight site there?
So if I could answer a couple things.
Yeah,
Steve. If
just
you-
talk to me about
if you
how
look-
you selected the site. There's
Yeah.
no other site we could place this on that wasn't by the water, that wasn't by the busy roads at the intersection where an
So-
18-wheeler turns around and jumps the barriers. Okay.
So let's start with that.
Yeah.
Is that just the contour of the property, if you were to look at it, even if they were to come over a guardrail, it goes into a gully. So they wouldn't necessarily, there'd be no clear pathway to get to the battery storage system itself, okay? And then secondly, I mean, in some cases, we would put bollards, we could put bollards in to help protect against impact from the roadway, which it's not.
Jersey barriers?
Jersey barriers, bollards, whatever.
We're going to provide impact protection. I understand your concern completely. I have also babysat a propane tank that was along the side of the road that got hit by a tractor trailer. So, and I don't think there is a gully at this site.
I think it
between-
goes
It's a little
down that
culvert.
way.
A little
so
bit,
it would-
but,
yeah,
you know,
it wouldn't go straight in.
I think that we will provide suitable impact protection once we get to the site plan. approval
I
site.
really like this idea, but that kind of,
So,
but should, that, because it's always what we don't think is going to happen.
Yeah.
It just seems like a very interesting site, so maybe you could talk about that a little bit.
so one of the reasons, there's a few reasons why, how we choose our sites. And that has to do with infrastructure, what type of lines are available close by. You know, we have to look at if there's room on the lines, on the existing lines and infrastructure to
Sell the-
receive,
To sell the
to be,
electricity.
to
yeah.
host, it's called hosting
Yeah.
capacity.
I
And
have
that-
solar panels.
Okay. Well, so all that, it has to be taken in consideration. So there's a great deal of boxes that need to be checked before you say, okay, this site is suitable. And of course, part of some of those boxes we check are also things like, where's the water, where's residents, you know, housings, where, you know, we try to utilize very good, thoughtful, common sense to make sure that we're not going to create a public safety hazard. So we check a lot of boxes to try to find sites that are suitable. And that's,
I think one of the attractions of this site as well was that it was already zoned for industrial.
yes.
Right, you know,
that's a big-
That I think is preferable than right in the middle of a neighborhood.
Mhm.
And so that was an advantage for this site as well. It is next to the roadway, but that's where you've zoned industrial, right? And so that's,
But it's next to the,
yeah,
the proper step box electrical lines.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To,
Yeah.
If you chose to, revenue
Mhm.
to National Grid, build private quickly.
Yeah, I noticed at this site, National Grid is also right across the street, or was it?
Yeah.
Eversource?
Right. I think it might be Eversource. I thought it was
It is,
Eversource.
it's Eversource.
Has that Capital Group also?
No, we'll get them. Just kidding.
Okay. That was a question. Just have concerns. it would be a lot for me to get over my safety concerns because I cannot think of how bad that would be should something go on fire, because that's been very clear in the documentation. And then there were sub concerns about noise, ground noise, but it sounds like you're gonna have to tackle. We have had ground noise complaints from other industrial users on Route 9, and it's caused quite a.
Yeah, I mean, from a noise perspective, these systems, they'll typically have like a HVAC system and a transformer, but they're not large noise generators.
Okay, so do you have a
It's
sound-
fans, it's mostly
sound
fans and
engineer,
vibrations.
Like a sound engineer. Are you a sound engineer?
I would
also?
not, I know, I'm not a sound
Yeah, 'cause they have
engineer.
sound engineers who kind of
But
check
we have
vibration.
data from the manufacturer, that describes the sound available to the site. And I noticed, there was a request to do some some sampling, field sampling. I don't know.
How big will it be? And then I'll pass on to Mike. How many
Think about the size
batteries?
of a tennis court.
Okay,
like-
That's an easy way to get people
yeah, I'm just trying to,
a visual.
I'm like, where are they putting
do you-
that?
have
I
you
said, Isn't
seen
that tight? No, well, I probably have it in the application. Well,
Yes, that's close to what it'd be, yeah.
and how tall? I would like a container.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like roughly 4 shipping containers.
Okay.
But you wouldn't see that. You'd see, a well-screened. fence.
So I personally visited a site that was installed in the Brockton Hospital. So of this manufacturer's batteries in particular, and I was standing right next to it, and you really hardly hear anything but a faint hum, almost as if somebody turned on a dishwasher in the other room of their house and went out into the driveway. You don't really sense that it's going to really.
There's no lighting off it, just safety lighting.
I don't even think we would plan to have safety lighting. We would have cameras for site security perspective, and then we would have lights that we would only use if we needed to maintain it
Yeah, I think
at
I read
night,
that you
but
could-
it wouldn't normally be
Plan was
lit.
to Comply with lighting.
Right.
and that's-
Yeah.
Usually, people will recommend, or we utilize, if we were to be lighting it at all, is what they call dark sky lighting. So it's pointing down and not out into the public's.
Mhm. I
Direction.
know on the conservation side,
I like that.
that's a little estuary there for
Mhm,
lots of birds.
mhm.
No, we don't want to disrupt that.
I would think there'd be a question on it, that's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good for my questions.
All right, Mike?
Just one question with respect to the application. So this is for energy production and storage? So I just want,
So it wouldn't be for production, it's just for storage.
just for storage. So I had the bylaws open a second ago. And so I'm looking at the industrial district for uses. And
We had been told, I believe it was the building inspector or by the building department, that he had categorized it
Electricity
fuel,
falls under
fuel
fuel.
storage.
Fuel.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's exactly what I wanted to clarify.
Mhm.
Just with, it is under section,
It was
I only had it in front of me a second ago.
It was on the application.
But I'd seen this just a moment ago, so I just.
It was 174-8C2.
EC2.
Just a question, because we're in the industrial district,
Mhm,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So Mike, I believe it's 174-8.7
I was gonna say,
B, where did it go?
It's not C2?
No.
that's accessory apartments.
Ooh, that one is,
Yeah,
Not
so
us.
you gotta be.
I
typo on the
literally-
application.
174-8.7B3, which is sale or storage of
Seven.
fuel, lumber, building materials,
the
and
one.
equipment.
Here
I
we
just
go.
wanted clarification on that point.
Sure they.
And I had no
ran a
other
planning board
questions.
one.
Okay. Well, that,
Very good.
Jay, the Dover Amendment is brought up here. How does that come into play regarding energy storage like this?
I'd frankly be hesitant to characterize it as sale or storage of fuel, and rather, and I'm sorry, I'm Jay Talleyrand, I'm town council. I'm assuming that a portion of the energy being stored comes from solar sources.
To the extent that that is the composition on the grid at that point of time.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
that's
it's
under the
kind
new
of-
case law, that's all that's required. It doesn't even have to be a primary component
Right.
or a principal component. So I think this kind of, I approach the use from a different direction, like because it's going to be treated under the law as a solar.
Interesting.
In terms of the zoning amendments, I mean, I don't view it as sale or storage of fuel per se.
I think it's nothing else but storage.
Storage of fuel, right?
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's.
I
I'm not,
very
I'm not sure
analogous.
that that's what the intent is, but I'm not sure it matters, is my point.
I don't think it matters.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
It's
we
really,
have
I think
seen
it's-
other communities address it the same way as the storage of fuel.
Right.
So that's a similar interpretation to others I've heard.
I just wanted clarification on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what
Yeah.
you're getting is during the day, on any given day, you may have excess power that's produced from different sources, some being solar. If this were not being utilized, if the battery were not being utilized, what they do with the excess is they ground it. So it's just thrown away essentially. So what we're doing here is getting a hold of that and putting it in storage until it's needed. And, that's how the mechanism works.
All right. So my questions are kind of more about, and you might not be able to answer them fully here, but more about, how it's managed. As I said, it seems like it's a fairly big deal when there is a thermal runaway. And so obviously the thing is, well, what do you do to prevent thermal runaway? And I did get some information from the fire chief. And it's interesting, there's a wiki page about it, about failures. And I mean, there are some that are not that old. Or, I mean, they're fairly recent, but they're on at least 4-year-old systems. And they have an interesting chart that the chief gave me earlier that just shows the failure rate of BSS systems, if that's the right way to say it, dropped by 98% from 2018 to 2024. So the industry obviously starts learning from what happened.
There's been a great maturing of the technology.
Right.
That's exactly true.
So again, you probably can't put this all into data or facts or words at the moment, but my concern is from what we've learned in the past, like what is going to be in the system that makes us, take the odds from, I don't know, 10% down to 1% or whatever it is. Because I mean, I understand that's how these things happen is, an event happens. I say, well, why did that happen? Here's how we can do that. There's some incredible sensor technology that's available. Like I said, there's a lot of technology that goes into battery management for electric cars as well as these sorts of things. So it feels like it might be hard for that really to be fully addressed here, because I think we said we're here about a second allowed use and the special permit. We're not really here to vet fully this health and safety of it, but we do have the ability to say, is it a detriment to the neighborhood? So
If I may, to respond,
Please.
is that I think, again, what we're going to find is that we're going to be dealing with these questions as we move through the process, and we'll be able to fully answer to those as they come up. And but right now, yes, we'll probably be pressed to give you a very
That's
Good.
what I thought.
mean-
That'd be kind of an ambush here to say,
But-
show me how you have all the safety things in place.
I mean, what I will say is that prior to this meeting, we had reached out, it was, I believe, Captain Dano, rather than the chief, was who we initiated
Okay.
coordination with. But we provided him, we have this ongoing Q&A of like very specific, technology questions about, do you have deflagration panels, or, how are you managing a thermal runaway? What is the emergency response? So it's a few pages. And so
Mhm.
we have provided that to them. We have a lot of answers from our manufacturer on the specific model, which, as you mentioned, is not the same as the systems that you've seen in the news, right?
Mm.
We're no longer putting batteries in buildings. Okay.
Okay,
We're no longer making compartments inside of batteries for human beings to be trapped in there, right? This is a risk little to save
Mm.
little situation, So the fire code is very mature at this point on the topic. And it requires that we obtain an energy storage permit from the head of the fire department. We're really looking forward to working with the department to satisfy
Okay.
all their concerns.
yeah, and just for what it's worth, again, this same site shows, the more recent incidents, and the ones that are in the US, it shows the system age to be 4 years old. And then there's some that are outside the country, but, at least taking a quick sample, it seems to be older systems. So I agree. This is really something that needs to be vetted, I think, a little bit further as you go. You should be prepared for that, I would say.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the guidance.
And we should ask Doug. Doug, do you have any questions? Doug is also on the board. He's dialed in remotely.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Just so you guys know, I mean, it might be my computer, but you guys do sound a bit faint, and I cranked my computer up to 100 volume, but I didn't want to restart, but just, I don't know if other people are having that issue online, but just FYI. So I don't have a lot of questions. I did attend the planning board meeting on Monday, so that was good with battery storage, just in terms of background. Generally, I mean, as we head to electrification, I'm generally in support of, battery storage in the right locations. I do share concerns about decommissioning, particularly as it gets towards the end of useful life. But generally trying to support, our buildings, which are trying to use other uses, though. I will say this being located in the front setback, and I don't know if David, that's part of the topic today for us, but it is pretty prominent being in front of the site with a chain link or a fence around it, but just simply noting that, it feels like we're putting a lot onto this site. And the preference of it not being in the front, again, we have a nice shopping plaza right next to it. There's an office building across the street. So just simply noting its location, more specific to this project. But I don't have any other additional questions or comments to add to, in terms of the system itself and how it works, but do have concerns about decommissioning and long-term uses of this, but also understand that we are heading to electrification, and if we can be more efficient with our grid, that is a good thing.
Yeah, so Doug, to answer one question, per what Laura's got up for the plans, it's up against the setback, but it's not violating the setback, so that's not an issue.
Yeah, okay.
And just to, this is, again, more maybe for the applicant, hearing from the planning board, they suggest we ask the proponent to ensure they provide an emergency response plan, fire department annual training, and a decommissioning plan. And that's all those things came up.
Right.
And we may have already provided those to Captain Dano because we have, they're not yet the final version, right? For the building permit, we're going to need like a very, very specific model, specific final version. But we have example emergency response plans, decommissioning plans, operations and maintenance plans. There's a slew of documentation we need to provide the fire code requires for the energy storage permit.
Okay.
So
Thank you. All right. Again, I'm not sure that our role here is to condition things.
right.
These are things that, the planning board's bringing about. You can be pretty sure the fire department will as well. Do we have anybody from the public who wants to speak? Okay.
Whoever is logged in as AP, you should be able to speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Hi, Andrew Pantini, the fire chief. If now would be a good time to speak, I just have just a couple quick comments I wanted to make.
Very good.
Okay, so to start, I appreciate renewable energy, battery storage. You know, it's certainly the wave of the future. So, you know, to begin, overall, I'm pro renewable energy, solar, battery storage. My concern is just strictly where it is in the proximity to other retail space, including the daycare. Um, I also agree that the likelihood of a fire event is extremely low. But should an event occur, one of the gases that's released from a lithium ion battery is hydrogen fluoride, which is extremely toxic. So I heard a reference to propane and the evacuation distance of propane being the same. Just for reference, the government, you know, comes up with levels, IDLH, immediately dangerous to life or health. The immediately dangerous to life or health level of propane is 2,100 parts per million, 0.21% of the atmosphere. Also, in comparison, carbon monoxide. We all know about carbon monoxide emergencies in our home is 1,200 parts per million, 0.0012% in the atmosphere. Hydrogen fluoride is just 30 parts per million. So at 30 parts per million, hydrogen fluoride is considered immediately dangerous to life or health. And that's where my concern lies, is in the unlikely event of a fire, the proximity to retail, including a daycare that has limited exit paths and from the parking lot. You know, with our shifts, no matter the size of the shift, it would be a taxing and it'd be a taxing event.
Thank you, Chief. I share your concern on HF specifically. You know, I've had the similar training of white gas. You know, this isn't just to get your SCBA on, it's to get your SCBA on. But I want to point out that not all of the lithium ion chemistries do produce HF. It is something that we've asked the manufacturer. I believe we addressed that in the Q&A, but I'll take note and follow up on that particular chemical just to have more concrete information on whether this technology is likely to emit that particular gas.
Okay, thank you. And you know, typically any gas that we're seeing released from a lithium ion battery, it's just the toxicity is just off the charts. So we recently responded to a lithium ion battery fire in a commercial building in one of our mutual aid towns, and we actually found corrosive effects to our firefighting gear within hours afterwards. So you know, we're protected and trained and equipped. The public is not. So, like I said, that's where my concern lies, and I understand that it's also a you know, low frequency, hopefully never event. But you know, I wouldn't be doing my due diligence job without bringing it to the attention of the board to help their decision.
Do you happen to have like product information on the one that you responded to recently? Just so we can use that in our due diligence.
I can, if you want to send me an email, I can give you
Sure.
some, I can try to research some more information. It was a mutual aid partner, so
Right.
it, you know, it wasn't in our town, so we weren't overly invested in the investigation aspect of it. But you know, but we certainly did respond there and you know, had to take action.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. So I understand that you have all sorts of sensors and precautions that are built in. But what if the fire is not coming from your, like what I'm thinking like the Palisades fire, right? Everything around it just goes up in flames. Then what? Like if no one can go in and deal with it because of this toxic air.
Right. I
how
mean,
do you
the
respond
proposed.
to all that fire.
Sure. So the proposed site doesn't have a lot of fuel load around it in terms of what could catch fire in the vicinity to cause an issue to this system. The fire code also requires that we maintain a 10-foot perimeter, no vegetation zone to further provide fire break separation should something happen in the perimeter. So there are measures in the design to also mitigate the potential of an external fire affecting the system. Was that the question?
Yes, I have to say, my aunt lost her house in the fire, and I've driven through the Palisades. I know that area very well because that's where I grew up, and I don't see a huge difference. Like, I don't feel comfortable saying we don't have enough vegetative state here. Or
No, I just meant, the immediate area surrounding the site is typically mowed grass. So the fuel load that, could transfer or bring a fire to that is quite low. It's not, like tall grasses.
I guess I'm curious what is the chief still on? Oh, no, maybe he's
Oh,
on.
it looks like he left.
I mean, he's still here.
Oh, I was just curious if he has a response. If he was listening.
Hi, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I mean, as far as a fire extending beyond the unit, that's not of my major concern. Certainly it would be something we would have to deal with tactically, should a fire event occur. My most prominent concern is strictly the smoke travel and the volume of smoke that could potentially be released and, trying to do evacuations in those areas.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody else who's got a hand raised?
I have no other hands raised.
All right. Do we have any other questions? Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made to close the public hearing. All in favor, respond with aye, opposed nay. Jamie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Doris? Mike?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And Williams, aye. Okay. Any discussion about the application?
I guess. I don't know if it's a what came first, the chicken or the egg, but should it have gone through site plan and conservation?
I mean, those kind of things have come up in the past, and take the last hearing we had where we had a lot of concerns, and there was other boards that had concerns. So I do feel, I don't want to draw a parallel necessarily, but I do think, what we're really charged with is this, this use detrimental into the surrounding area. And I think, the way I would view that is, well, it's zoned industrial. There's a building, right, that's close to it. There's more businesses across the street from it.
Transfer
The
station.
transfer station is there. Like, setting the safety concerns aside for the moment, and there are legitimate, but setting the safety concerns aside for the moment, I mean, I would say it's certainly not detrimental to the area. But
It's an allowed use.
it's allowed use. So that's my take on it. I know, I mean, I appreciate Chief bringing up his concerns. Again, I said they are legitimate. That's why I try to ask the question of how much more have we done to make sure these things are safe? We do understand that more electrification is coming, but that's how I view our like, if we approve this, they're not going down and pouring concrete tomorrow.
Oh,
They've
no,
got
I
a
know
lot
that.
of work to do.
That I know.
Quite a ways to go.
Yeah. Yes, but yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to, make light of what you're asking, Jamie, but that's my take on it, is that we view this from a zoning perspective for the most part.
I guess I feel like usually we have more like renderings and like it's clear kind of way it's gonna look like, and
What did we have?
You have one in there.
I was gonna say, I thought we did have something
Okay, I
in
might
the
have missed it.
application, yeah.
Laura knows I'm a little,
Visual?
Good.
no, I have issues getting our documentation.
You're good. You're good. Let me share it.
Yeah.
Actually, I might
On that
have it
ZBA
on-
folder, it's not.
Yeah, I don't like the SharePoint.
Yeah, it's a little tricky.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
We were under the impression that tonight we were just trying to get approval to have two uses, and, I have
Correct.
a lot more that I need to do before I can do a full site plan application.
Yep.
Please don't
Yeah,
think this is considered ready for site plan review.
no, and I don't,
No,
I don't think that's what
understand.
No, I
Jamie's
think it was
asking.
just so you could
But,
visualize.
but she's right. I mean, obviously, we see a
Makes perfect
wide range of
sense.
things. A lot of times there is a plan that says,
The pretty.
here's
the
a
nice
location, here's where it
architectural-
goes,
Right.
right?
In perspective of where it is.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
like how can we know how detrimental it is without seeing a lot of that information?
Yeah.
I guess was
And-
my point.
Where's without that, the
site
the
plan.
site plan, yeah, what they have as a site plan.
Yeah,
Do
that,
it This way, so I don't make you all sick.
Did we have it? We didn't have anyone write in, right? Any butters?
Oh, butters, I mean, the butters are all, I think, commercial, I believe.
This is,
Okay.
that's a little small. Hold on.
Well, it's, I mean, we also have the board here, if, you know, you want it.
Just
We do
zoom in a
decide.
little bit.
Here we go.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't
want
look
it
like it.
bigger?
We
Yeah,
can, we
this
can
is what
send
I
you
saw.
digital versions in the future. It looks like maybe this got scanned in. Yeah,
Digital would be.
yeah, okay.
We can send you pictures of the fences and there's a lot of different options.
Yeah, I'm getting a sense of it.
Planning, I think.
Okay, what?
Okay.
That would be more for planning.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
Any
no,
other?
but I think your point is valid. You
Yeah.
Want to understand the scope of the
Right.
project.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
To the abutters.
Exactly.
Okay. Any other discussion amongst the board as we did
Uh,
close the public hearing?
So in regards to the second use, in regards to it's not near these other buildings prospectively, I don't see that as detrimental, but I really am struggling with the aspect of should something happen as remote as it is, as close as it is to those intersections and all the various accidents that happen. I know that one accident up is one of the high hit rate zones. And that, in my mind, that's detrimental, even if it's 2%, because 2%, 100% of, what was that chloride gas, that poisonous gas that could come out? So that was not the fact that it's not industrial, you know, it's anything but those batteries were there for second use. So I like kind of what Jamie was saying. I wish it was a little further along in the process. So I'm on the fence there. That's where I'm at because of that, because of the detrimental, even to that tiniest possibility. I don't know if I can assess the safety.
No, and
That's
again,
what I'm saying.
I think that's difficult for us. I mean,
Yeah.
my interpretation procedurally is we say, is it, you know, does it, with it being installed there, does it detract? Does it derogate from the neighborhood?
No.
Because you can't, you really, I think procedurally, you can't have them go through site plan review with the planning board, then,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's a lot of work. And then come to us.
It's a lot of investment.
And we can say no after they've invested all this money. It makes no
No,
sense.
but from a
So,
pragmatic perspective, I know that there's these other uses, but then I heard that buzzword, the preschool.
Well, you know, and we understand that if during the energy storage permit process, we are unable to satisfy the fire chief. I mean, one of the things we have to do is provide a hazard mitigation plan.
Yeah.
It takes into
all those-
account all of these exposures, takes into account the specific technology in this specific battery. And if we cannot satisfy the fire department, we do not get a permit. And so we understand that and we're prepared for that.
any other discussion? Doug, do you have anything you wanted to bring to the board?
Nothing additional.
Okay.
I have no objections to this.
Okay.
To me, it's a round peg and a round hole where I really love and appreciate both the safety and the location concerns. Like, is this consistent with the zoning, given the location of where it's going? Because it's kind of right there. But it's also one of those things where it's an allowed use. And I personally don't have an objection
Okay.
to granting a special permit. I think it is consistent with our bylaws. I think it's not a detriment to that industrial area. And my biggest argument for that is the transfer stations across the street. You know, I was glad, I think it was the chief that mentioned the daycare. But at the same time, you know, what if there was, I don't know what contaminants are stored at the transfer station, but I'm
Right.
sure we wouldn't want to breed those either.
We don't.
Um, you know, and it might be one of degree, as the chief mentioned, like, hey, this is, you know, radically large department, at derogation. But I also feel like that's outside of the rules.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from as well. I think I stated pretty clearly, I would love to really understand what is done to mitigate the risk. I would think intuitively that it's a lot better than it was 4 or 5 years ago. I'm sure it is. But I also feel like that's a bit outside our bounds.
Yeah, zero risk doesn't exist.
No, zero risk doesn't risk. We've had other, I mean, not similar to this, but right, the whole, you know, the marijuana, oh, that's risky. Well, okay, well, we have a drugstore in town and liquor stores in town. Nothing comes with zero risk.
Yeah.
So I do feel like we're a step along in the process. Like we've heard from the Board of Health, Planning Board, Fire Chief, and these folks are going to have to go through all of them before they actually get this done. We're really just saying, hey,
Does this fit?
does this fit? And my feeling is it does. So I don't know if that helps you at all, Doris, or where that puts you in your.
Actually, what helps me more is the good explanation of why it's there. I do have an appreciation of why they picked the site. It's not,
Okay.
and by no means I'm not saying, it's certainly not haphazard. There was a lot of careful thought.
Right.
And the logistics of it and the placement of it makes sense for the storage and the delivery and the, and so forth. So,
Yeah, I have to say
but
that
I'm not saying, like, I'm
Jen
with
does
you
a-
100% until I got to the safety,
Yeah,
but, you know, I'm,
I think they're great.
they are good points. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I'm probably gonna go for it.
Okay.
Is
That might be the lone
I know
holdout.
I just
I don't know, it's just something with like, yeah, it's an allowable use, but it's still in front of us. If it was no questions asked, it wouldn't,
I agree.
why would
Yeah.
we be saying
Yeah,
there's a
well-
reason to discuss it?
Well, how will the public, although the public is,
Well,
represent what
wait,
the public.
what's the public notice? Can you pull that up again?
Uh, And just so you know, I think we need it. I'm not against the project. I
That's
just-
the issue, yeah.
I do feel like typically when people come before us, and I understand you don't want to invest all the site plan stuff until we approve, but it seems like there's a lot more visuals to understand the detriment or potential
Underst-
detriment.
Right. But just to get, like, why are they in front of us? It's the special permit is for multiple use
No, I get
on
it.
one lot. So
get it.
But to Jamie's
it is an
argument,
allowed use.
it's an allowed use, but to meet the requirements for a special permit
That's true.
are not detrimental. And I think, I don't want to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah,
for you,
Yes.
but that's your
the
argument,
detrimental
What we're
part.
is
talking
the proposed location is arguably detrimental to that zoning.
Correct. And again, I'm not totally against it. I just don't know that I have enough information
I totally get that.
right now.
So,
It sounds like everyone else. is.
well, Jamie, it does matter. So I'm kind of, that's where I'm coming from, was that aspect, was the location, which most of my questions were centered on.
This-
So much logistic in front of that. Would that give us a better decision? Had we known that today, would we have? Because we know. the
Yeah, I would just, sorry, Doris. I would just say, chiming in a little bit. I mean, I'm an alternate on this vote, I believe, so I'm keeping that in mind as well too. But I mean, I would say, yeah, I think we definitely have, purview over this because again, it's multiple uses on one lot. So as you're saying, and there's already a lot going on this lot, to be honest. And And, I do understand that there's the transfer station over the street and other uses, but this is not an industrial area necessarily, right? There are a bunch of, it's really a mixed use area. So I would just simply note that. And I do agree that we don't have maybe all the information. I did just had a quick clarification. I don't know if I can ask this because the public hearing is closed, but the site plan shows what looks like to be 6 or 7 utility poles in quick succession before it gets to it. Is that correct?
We can certainly confirm with the electrical engineer prior to site plan review, but it's not uncommon, kind of similar, I imagine, to the solar array next door. There's a lot of equipment that the utility requires as well as the customer. We've got meter, we've got cutouts, we've got recloser probably. So that's pretty typical. I would say it's at conceptual level though. We're not,
Yep.
done.
Yeah. So no, appreciate that.
Yep.
So I guess I do. I mean, again, and David, I know what you're saying. Like, we're not really giving guidance based upon its location. It's more supposed to be about use. But that location to me is pretty prominent, and it feels different in character from the other uses that have been around it, to be honest, in some ways. So, so again, I'm not voting on this one, but I think, again, I'm for battery storage, and I would be I mean, as you guys know, I've been in favor of multiple uses on one lot on many things, right? Trying to support the business community and everything and, tax base. So, but this one was a bit more, there's a lot going on already. So, but that's all I want to share as well.
Can I give some context too from the permitting side here? So first of all, your bylaw with respect to the multiple uses that does require the special permit, it does invoke your general special permit criteria as well, which includes concerns basically with respect to public health and safety, as well as other things. To me, the important component of that is public health and safety, because because this is a Dover protected use here, we can't really get into as much into the aesthetics, and in any event, the planning board will probably look at that more. What we can control through the special permit process, as well as the site plan review process, is impacts to public safety with respect to solar related projects. And even then, our bandwidth to actually regulate that under the cases involving solar is small. So I think the way, if we're structuring this decision, it seems like folks are more or less okay with this, is to really make sure and ratify on the issues that we've heard, especially about that the chief mentioned with respect to the toxic gases, is that those things be addressed to the chief's satisfaction. So I think we're not without tools to condition this, and you have the right to condition it, as does the planning board. Special permit's a lot stronger than site plan reviews. You actually have more authority to condition this likely than the planning board does. And I'm not suggesting we reinvent the wheel on this, because as we've heard in the last, and I've been doing best systems from a permitting thing for a while now, and in the last 5 years, finally the regulations have caught up with it, because it used to be there wasn't much out there and you had to kind of make it up as you went along. Now it's much more developed, but I still think that we can include conditions such as to satisfy the Southborough Fire Department with respect to toxic releases, and the O&M plan, the hazmat plan, all that other stuff. And I think we would in that decision. So I think we can address those things while still not impeding a use that's protected under the Dover Amendment in Mass, as well as, your bylaws. So you have some control over these things. And if they presented something without any adequate safety precautions, then I would be all on board with saying, like, hey, this is one of those rare examples where a solar related project could be rejected. But our bandwidth to reject solar related projects that are otherwise complying with code and satisfying the fire chief and everything else is slim. So not non-existent, but slim.
If I understand that right, then even if it goes to site plan and the planning board says, hey, this looks like a utility company popped up in the center of Southborough, and we have all these poles and this big storage container looking thing, that houses a battery by law, even though it may not fit in, there's really nothing they can do.
The planning board has comparatively less authority here than you do. Site plan review is essentially designing good sites. And they can look a little bit at public safety and environmental issues, but you can't say no to site plan review. It's non-discretionary. And it is, again, more about site planning. Whereas you all, through the special permit process, have the ability to impose conditions relating to public health and safety. So special permits are always stronger than site plan.
Which
I
to me puts us in a unique position in this particular case. Because there are
We don't
so
have
many
much.
health and safety issues and we don't have those other pieces. Yeah.
I
Right,
would
so-
add that it's my understanding that the energy storage permit required by the fire code is another discretionary permit.
Yeah, so
as
that's
well.
different. So
Yeah,
just
the
on the
health and
zoning
safety
side.
perspective.
So what I wouldn't say that we could do is, especially because it's a protected use, is impose conditions for a higher degree of safety than would otherwise be required under what has become a more advanced section of the code. I think that the unique aspect of this, as I see it, with respect to your jurisdiction and allowing a second principal use, or not even a principal use, a second use on the site, is the location of what is a daycare or preschool or something like that, where there could be some sensitivity. Assuming that that gets picked up in code compliance, then I think you can include a condition that says code compliance has to directly address, what the fire chief does, any and all issues with respect to, or the applicant shall satisfy the local authority, meaning the fire chief, that there's adequate protections and safeguards with respect to the release of toxic gases. I mean, we're permitting these things all over. These are not unique concerns. The unique element here is that it's a little closer than a lot of them that I'm seeing for use where there's going to be people around, children in particular. Normally we see them more kind of off the beaten track a little bit, but as you said, we're trying to advance this particular use because we're so much more electrification out there.
So you're suggesting we could condition that they meet the fire chief's, or the fire department's
I
requirements?
think you could
safety.
even go a little further and identify the risks that you would like
Okay.
the fire chief to address with the applicant during their permitting at the fire department.
Okay. And I don't know how some of the things from the planning board fit into that, just saying they asked that we have the proponent ensure they provide an emergency response plan, fire department annual training, and a decommissioning plan.
Well, I think we can require a decom plan through our permitting process for sure.
Okay.
And fire code also requires one
Yeah.
already.
And but I think what we would do too is like I have a standard decom agreement that I do, and I will work with the fire department as well as this board
Okay.
to make sure that we do. It looks kind of like amped up subdivision security in a way. But we do those things pretty routinely for all solar installations, but battery storage in particular.
Okay. So if we're to go ahead and vote to approve, then we would want a condition that meet the fire department's conditions for,
And I think between what I'm hearing today and knowing that Laura's gonna do a great job doing at least the first draft of this, then we can return back to the board something that reflects something, and you could probably pick up the draft of that, because there's some sensitivity here. I would say just pick up the draft that when you next get together. I mean, you have 90 days anyway. It's a special
Okay.
permit.
right,
And just next time, make sure you go over and it has all those safeguards in it. I think
okay,
that would be appropriate, rather than something that's more minor where we would just have you sign off on it, David.
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
To be clear, if we did that, they would not be voting on a decision tonight.
Well, they can,
They
and,
don't.
and I think that they should, because they should be giving us direction, and I think you and I
Yeah.
know the kind of things they want in this, and I think that and I have enough solar decisions out there that I could probably fill in some of those basic public safety things.
Yeah, and as you said, we could actually, if you get a draft out, we can deliberate about that at our January meeting.
Yeah, I think that'd be appropriate. I mean, they still have a ways to go elsewhere as
Right.
well, so it's not like they're, again, looking to get a shovel in the ground tomorrow.
Right, okay.
Mr. Chair, I entertain a motion to approve the applicant's request for an additional use on site, subject to some express conditions that we've spoken about. This is to comply with both, for the applicant to provide both satisfactory review and approval from the Southborough Fire Department's chief. This would be including but not limited to addressing concerns for both hazmat, releases, public health and safety, specific code compliance with respect to the daycare and the site with respect to its proximity to the road.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion with a second. All in favor, respond with aye. Opposed, nay. Jamie?
Nay.
Paul?
Yeah, yes, whatever.
All right, okay. Doris? Mike?
Aye.
And Williams, aye. And Doug, yeah, you're right. You're an alternate on this one. Okay. That's 4-1. So that is enough for approval. We do need to deliberate on the decision, but as we said, at a
Yeah,
later date.
I think we have enough that we can get a draft together. Sure.
Okay. All right. Do you have any?
Do we want to touch base on the findings on that at all, or just for the decision?
Now, or, I mean, I've been kind of taking notes on what I think
Okay,
the
that's
findings
fine.
should be.
There was you probably know that there's a couple issues on appeal that were kicked back because of lack of findings.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll
Yeah.
backstop any
I just wanna
conditions
make
with
sure.
the findings.
Yep.
Yeah, this is not going to be the
Yep, I just-
Wendy's hamburgers.
No, just because.
Yes.
So for the proponent, though, was there anything else you wanted to add administratively that you normally do, Laura, regarding timing?
No, so I guess I just want clarification for me, because normally they vote on the decision, then we have the 14 days to file.
Yeah, that's not the standard for special permits.
Okay,
When we
all right.
close, that's for other things like
Yeah.
variances and appeals.
Yeah.
For special permits, when the hearing closes, we have 90 days to file a decision.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. Just
Okay.
wanna-
I doubt
Great.
we'll need all 90.
Okay.
So we
I don't
can
think
so,
probably
yeah.
Pick it up in January.
We want to get that.
Okay, in that
Yeah.
case, I think we're all set. So thank you.
oh.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time again tonight. Appreciate it. Thanks for having us,
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
and you as well.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
No, I know.
Lord.
It's confusing. We have remind me to give you my.
Yeah, yeah. Does night and day come to mind or what?
Yes.
Exactly what I was
Practice.
thinking.
Time.
Have to
Talk
keep
to you
this
like an
special.
adult.
I know. All right. So
We ask so much.
I know, we're so difficult. All right, so our next item on the agenda is 250 Turnpike Road, FD 250 Turnpike LLC Comprehensive Permit. This is 40B. Obviously, we don't have anybody in the room. Do we have anybody online?
I have nobody online.
Interesting.
No.
I do know that they were requesting, to continue the hearing, right?
Yeah, so they submitted a request to continue without testimony. Their original plan was to address the remaining wetlands and environmental concerns because both our wetlands consultant and their wetlands scientist had a working session. And I think I forwarded that email, like the
Might have,
meeting
yeah.
notes to you guys. Nothing has come of that at this point. We don't have revised materials, and I think they were waiting for Board of Health approval on the septic design just because of the tributary issue. But that got pushed back to December 23rd. So I think they're just still working on some stuff on their end. So they've just requested continuance. I asked about an extension. I have not received an answer.
Okay.
So
So
February 4th.
February 4th.
So we've got one meeting between now and then.
Yeah, that, I mean, that's going to have to, it's going to need to be extended. I'm gonna say that's not gonna happen. Yes,
Right.
exactly. But their history is also, they don't really push back too hard on the extensions for closing the hearing, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If they were otherwise really in our face about it, then I think I might view it differently.
Look sharp there, Jay. Nice scarf too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotta look good. Um,
Okay.
So our business to take care of then for 250 is simply to just continue the hearing until what did we agree on, January 10th?
January 21st.
January 21st. Oh, well into the month. Okay.
Yeah.
Even closer to February 4th.
Yeah.
Unless
you guys want to change the date, but that's the third Wednesday in January, so.
Are we okay with January 21st in January to continue the hearing? But it's, yeah, so that's as much as you know. Okay, okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's far enough out that I doubt very much I know anything about then.
Are you?
As far as I know, I'm not.
Sorry.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I've got nothing. 21st is okay with me. Okay.
Is that a regular meeting
Okay.
date? That's
Yeah,
fine. That's fine with me. Okay, that was simple. I like.
Good with
to
you,
keep
Paul?
it On the regular
I don't
day.
want to go December 21st.
Thank
No,
you.
on
I'm in.
two,
Sure.
250.
All right, awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jay.
I gave
On,
blood today and I'm
on
like
250,
sleeping
who's
on it. I swear.
still,
I want to
Not
say it's
Mullins ruled
still
out.
just
I'm a left foot, I
Jamie
don't know, my
and
palate.
Doris have done the Mullins.
They
I
missed
think
my
everyone
vein,
else
which
has
is a
missed the
50,
meeting, but
50.
it wasn't
That's
one
how I
where
got
we
my
had any
t-shirt.
sort of
okay,
substantive
My-
discussion.
okay. So, yeah, all right. So we're not,
It is, it was, you know,
we're not
I
gonna
like
be pushing
to do
anybody
blood.
off if they
I
happen to
get it,
miss
you know.
that one.
Unless Jamie or Doris. is.
Unless, well, but
But-
you said, yeah,
You've
Jamie
had
and
the
Doris have
chance
one
to.
each, yeah.
But
Craft
Yeah.
blood
the
and
other
blood.
thing is though, yeah,
Okay.
Over
but
at,
even if
um,
you do
Fraser
miss
Street,
it, we
Marlboro
still have
Street.
enough, you know, so.
It's
Because
nice.
Doug has still been part of
Yep.
all of it, right? Yeah, okay,
Yep.
all right. Okay, then let's, I can do it too.
Give blood?
I move to
I gave blood today. so
continue
I'm
the,
not sleeping
continue the
tonight.
public hearing on 250 Turnpike until January 21st,
I'll second. it.
2027, 26,
26.
geez,
No, not the 26th.
26, 2026 at,
January 21st, 2026 at 7 PM.
At 7
That's the
p.m.
only thing on the
Okay,
agenda.
Second that.
Okay.
Do we have anything on the agenda yet for that? day?
No, we have no hearing, no other
So that'd be
public
fine
hearings.
to have that first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be the only thing.
Okay.
I'll,
We
Oh, I
second.
just did.
second that
Oh,
then.
you seconded, okay. Did Jamie second it?
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
You did the-
we'll give
Okay.
Jamie credit.
All right. Motion to continue the public hearing on 250 Turnpike to January 26, 2026, or January 21st.
January 21st.
That's what
2026.
2026.
At
Yeah,
7
it's
PM has
p.m.
been made
But
with
it's
a
okay,
second.
David.
All in favor, respond with aye, opposed nay. Jamie? Paul?
Bye.
Doug's usually there. Doris?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Doug?
He's gone.
He's mute.
He's had some.
Have to take off,
problems.
yeah.
I got your alternate vote. right
Wait,
here.
all right, aye, how about that?
There you go. Very good. All right, and Williams, aye. Okay.
Okay.
So now I believe the next item we have on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes from November 19th, 2025, which I credit Laura for actually going through that video.
I want to say, I printed out.
No
the-
doubt
I watched
entertaining.
it.
Did you? Okay. And so I'm going to note that not only was it a very
You
interesting
guys, well.
hearing,
I'm
but
he
I
was
had to
super-
navigate it
I
without
appreciate
Laura.
that.
So I I messed
That's
up.
the town I grew up.
But-
I did notice the Zoom call seemed to have flowed a little bit better.
Yeah, this one went far better. That's not,
You notice I
that's
didn't
not by accident.
step up to say it would help with the Zoom call.
Right, yeah, because Doug normally helps
He
out.
just had it stuck in
Um,
his head. He was getting
but
a short deal. He's getting a-
so-
I
So
was thinking, he just was.
regarding the minutes, I did take a pretty close look at them. As we said, there was a lot that happened there. I had no problems with it. I think she captured it really accurately. So did anybody else who was in
I had a-
attendance?
I was in attendance. I was two small corrections.
Doris?
Yeah.
It was,
Don't say yeah.
I think it was it just four of us? Because
That was it.
Yeah.
you and I and Paul
Yeah,
and Doris was remote and Doug
yeah,
wasn't
that was a
here.
rough meeting.
It's a very rough.
Yeah, Doris
I
wasn't in the
remember- yeah, I
room
wasn't
and
remote,
turned the
yeah.
temperature down.
I would have been reacting.
I was on Batumi.
that?
I would have
time.
been reacting like you.
I was just glad.
It was really
So,
very difficult,
so,
to say the least.
yes,
You
it
guys,
was.
like, Missed it.
It did make one of my top 3 favorite meetings.
It was a good one. I told
Well,
my
we had
dad,
two
I go,
board members that were just really having
So-
a hard time.
And
Your
regarding,
skin.
regarding the minutes, do we have any comments on the minutes as?
I
printed?
do. I had a comment.
You made a comment?
Yeah, I do. Go to page one,
Page 1, yep,
page one, where it says Ms. Cahill asked about the porch.
yep.
I think what I said, and it's not a big deal, but for me, it's a contextual thing.
Yeah.
If there will be changes to the existing porch, or I said something to that effect.
It's there.
Okay.
Then
That was on the first hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
And then in the conflict zone, page 5.
Oh, boy.
The
All right.
conflict zone.
The conflict zone.
Deep
The
into it.
DMZ. I mean, I've actually been to the DMZ, I just want to say that. Where you get
Standpoint.
to, it says, first sentence, very competent boards, 2, and it says get some, it's just vernacular. Say work towards, not, I may have said get some, but it just sounds so informal.
Wait, where are you? I'm sorry.
Page 5,
Yep.
paragraph, the second fat paragraph after motion, first sentence, end of the sentence, very important, very competent boards, 2, where you see that phrase get some.
I think I like
I
it.
am not.
That's pretty cool.
Hang on,
I don't know
I'm
if
not
I said-
finding this.
Get some street cred.
"You want me to hand it to her?"
Yeah, just send that down, because I'm not doing Laura any justice. So that was it, Laura.
No, you're good. I'm just,
No.
I'm trying to
no, they
find
can't
it
have all
in the-
these.
She's-
Those are all mine.
oh, okay.
You got it? Okay.
All right.
To,
Get
so what do you
some.
want to change? What
I
do you
get
want to
some?
change it to?
I wrote that down on the piece of paper.
Oh,
that you have
to
right
work
there.
toward. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, you
Work
got it.
toward.
It's in there.
I could not recall. I'd have to go through that lovely tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anybody else? Paul or Mike? your
I have no
comments?
comments on them.
Okay.
I thought they were
Yeah.
well.
Needs to enforce.
Okay, so
We have
do we
problems in
have,
that section. That's a problem for us, yeah.
do we have a motion to approve the minutes as modified by Doris?
I have a motion to approve the minutes as modified by Doris.
Second.
All right, motion to approve has been made with a second. All in favor, respond with aye, opposed nay. Paul?
Aye.
Doris?
Aye.
Mike? Williams, aye. And I'm going to say
I was,
abstain for Jamie
yeah, I wasn't here.
and for Doug, yeah.
Doug was not here.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. All right. So the next item we have ADU bylaw discussion. I don't know if we have anything we want to discuss here. I don't know that that's gone anywhere necessarily with
That's
the
what I was
planning
gonna
board.
ask, is anything,
I'm not aware of it. Are you?
I don't think so. And I'm not in what I've heard in planning board meetings, and I could be wrong. I don't think it's one of their focuses for Springtown meeting. I think they have a couple other bylaws that they're working on that I think are going to potentially take priority. But happy to facilitate a conversation if that would be helpful.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
what's the one, I mean, the
Oh,
thing that we talked about at the special town meeting, Mike, where it like doesn't make sense
Yeah.
with the very smallest ones to say 50%, where you could be talking about something really tiny. And it's just, the more I thought about it, it's like, it's a lot. You should just take it out and just say it's, what do we say, 900 feet maximum?
well,
No 50% rule.
well, yeah, if you're 1,800 square, or wait, whatever,
But if you think about this, right, if you're saying no matter the size of the residence, you can only make the ADU no more than 900 square feet. You don't have to put in
You
any,
don't need 8%.
you don't need anything else. You don't, you
Yeah,
need no
we could
percentages.
coin it, so I know it's not in their purview, but I think if we could facilitate, if you can get me at a select board or planning meeting just to throw the pitch to get it into the fall. I mean, I think it's an administrative cleanup if we can make a pitch for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're all in support of that.
I've debated about redrafting it, but like I've already wasted so much time on it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
and
I'm
really,
Point it as
still-
an administrative with our 3 pain points, why it's not fair. Why it's not, it doesn't,
well, I think maybe what we want then
Yeah,
is
like-
why don't we like be very clear to them, like, these are the things that we would like to see addressed. Right? Like maybe it doesn't have to be complicated. Like the example I just gave you, if you eliminate the 50% rule, then everybody gets 900 square feet. And that's actually a very simple modification. I don't know if there's other things that you were concerned with, because the special permit process actually remains the same as it is now. It would be with us. And I don't know if there was a third one that was a concern.
so that exists. So there's the 900, the 50% is unfair. They come to special permit. That's because they're over 900 square feet. And I could not wrap my head around, we got back into the percentages. And that just may be too much for the town to comprehend. We're back at the 25%. And then if it was a historical property anywhere, so it's 35% of, so we have a percentage limit in the special permitting of ADUs that are over 900 square feet. Why is those percentages there?
Right. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. I mean, to me, it should be very simple. I mean, we kind of went back and forth on how to word it. And I thought about it afterwards, like, all you have to do is remove the percentage altogether and say anything over 900 square
Goes to
feet
special permit.
needs a special permit.
Right, 'cause
But
it's
that way you don't penalize those homes that are less than 1,800 square feet. 'Cause Mike has a good point
So
on
there's
that.
3 administrative changes then.
I think it's probably technically more than administrative at that
Yeah.
point, because you would have to add something into the bylaw to account for us allowing larger units by right than the state does, right? Like if we're getting rid of that 50%, that's the state regulation. We could allow something more. So you would have to add that piece into the bylaw and then
disagree
also
with that.
remove the 25%.
Because the states,
I didn't think the state had a 50% rule. I think it was just 900 square feet max.
50% or 900 square feet,
Whichever is.
whichever is smaller.
Really? Okay. My
but I
mistake.
think that is the guideline. The town's gonna adopt their own regulations. So I don't see that as a change.
So I think it's because our bylaw right now is, the way it is now is the state regs are the default.
You're right.
So if
It
you
would
wanted
be a
to change
to
it-
the state, because we have the default, because the changes that they amended, wanted to have amended got voted down. You're
Yeah.
right. You're absolutely right. Okay.
Yeah. So currently, the only thing in our bylaw is what was just passed at Fall Town Meeting, which was changing the definitions from accessory apartment to ADU.
ADU.
And then getting rid of that 5% cap. But that special permit process is still pretty restrictive. And we're still following the state regulations. So if you guys wanted to allow larger units, you would just have to add that language into the bylaw.
Can you work on
And I don't see why, I mean, the ZBA also has proposed warrant articles in the past. If this was something you guys
it just
wanted to
gives you-
do.
It just could blow up and the people don't vote for it. We don't write it and clarify what it is, where we're coming from. We could
Yeah.
write. I'm
Last
gonna
time was
I'm
so
gonna
much
be
fun.
careful about who's writing this, okay?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
could
you're
propose
right.
to add the warrant and that takes it off. All these,
Yeah.
because there's been this process of, a lot of people in on these percentages and got real deep, deep, deep. Where I couldn't see the depth in that at all. It was.
Yeah.
So
It's
maybe we just
either,
try.
it's a 1 or a 0.
Yeah.
If it's under
just
this,
don't
it's
understand
that. If it's over that, it kicks.
Doesn't make it
off.
any bigger. Also, you can flip them. I go into a lot of reasons why you want to avoid the percentage. I don't think it accomplished if it was the ADU and you were the primary, who's checking, who's living in what space? I could just keep going on.
But who cares?
Nobody
Yeah,
cares. We
yeah,
put
who
up to
cares?
6 unrelated people in the house. I don't know what that percentage thing's all about, so.
Yeah.
And it's detrimental to people who don't have this.
That's just it.
So, I mean,
I
The
think
flip
all
side-
sorts of other
the flip
flaws
side
in the
is
law that are more
board,
important. We could have a
If we
bunch
get
of.
applications, I mean, I think we can make it pretty clear that if we're gonna just approve under, you know.
So I don't even know what the difference between an ADU and a special permit and a two-family. Anybody can jump in on that thought. So they're so.
Just a legal definition.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's sort of like you go the two-family route, also you can avoid the ADU.
I think that, I would
That's
imagine the
also a special
regulations are
permit,
different, yeah.
You could go the two-family route and then get an ADU still.
Yeah.
You could.
Two ADUs, right?
Yeah.
Well, the two family is a
Well-
special permit through ZBA.
But it
It's-
says only
that's
on
not a
single
by right.
property.
A single property, so the state guidelines on the AG have been really push these through. The cap is.
So
when
you don't have any problem with tiny houses? You have a little tiny houses?
as
That's
long
a
as they meet
totally
building code.
separate beast. Those are.
I could just go, I could just go down the
No, I
rabbit. Let's
know.
just get this little tiny change.
Right.
I go way down the
Well,
rabbit.
yeah,
tiny
but
houses,
let's,
you know.
let's just
okay.
keep it to what do we want to do regarding ADUs? If we
Okay.
want to do something with, the town bylaws, it sounds like we might have to try to tackle that ourselves if we're interested. It's kind of interesting what you brought up, Lori. I've been going along with, I don't know where they came up with the 50%, but it's in there.
Yeah, that's. the
Have to,
state.
you have to gross floor
I
area
haven't-
or
I haven't
900
thought
square
about it
feet.
that way either.
Yeah, but if it, of course, you could take the approach that we are the special permit authority. If somebody comes with a tiny house and it's more than 50%, it's within our right to approve it. It's a special permit. So
So
it's
the
still
way
with us.
The
It's just a lot of
fall,
work and time.
It's just an extra
Yeah.
step.
but you're also restricted to what's within the bylaw. So the way the bylaw was passed in the fall town meeting is that they can only come for a special permit if it's over 900 square feet. So those right now,
Not
this
if
was
it's
my
over
concern.
50%.
correct.
Oh, my
And that
Lord.
was my concern that I
That's a-
brought up before when they were talking about this. And I think the planning board felt that it was part of a much larger change. They wanted to keep it more administrative. So currently, the way it reads is that you can come for a special permit for an ADU that's larger than 900 square feet. So if you have somebody who lives in a house that is less than 1,800 square feet, and therefore they're restricted to 50% gross floor area, they have no special permit avenue as it stands right now. They are restricted to that
Yeah,
50%.
Unless they try and build 1,000 square foot.
Right, unless
Then
they,
they can come.
so they would
No,
have to go
they
over
can't.
900.
Because they're restricted. So the way that the state regs are is it's either 50% of your gross floor area or 900 square feet, whichever is smaller. So if your house is 1,800 square feet or smaller, you're stuck, 1,800 square feet, 50% is 900, right? So if you're under 1,800 square feet, you can only build an ADU that is 50% of your gross floor area. You cannot go above that,
there's
and
no
we don't
special
have a
permit.
special permit.
But what they
provision
do to
for
work
that.
around that is they take their 1,800 square foot house, put on a storage unit, now their house is
Yeah.
2,400 square feet. and
Or
they-
they put on like a 1,000 square foot addition, and then they
Addition.
say like, look, my footprint is much
Yeah,
bigger,
they
but,
change their footprint along with applying for the ADU, maybe concurrently or not.
but
Well,
then you
that's
have
just
to have the
storage, you
space
know.
to put
That's-
on the
that's-
addition, like.
Yeah,
Right.
and now we're gonna put a, what do they call it, a walkway between the houses to
Yeah.
get it to the right
Yeah,
size. Yeah.
it gets really
Tried that
convoluted.
before. The walkway,
The walkway, the
the walkway
breezeway,
between houses. Yeah, that's just in the, yeah.
it's part of the
Just
square
a
foot.
second building. All right.
So, I mean, I'm
Okay.
happy to work on this
I
with.
think we
Work
need
on it.
to, given that.
Yeah.
given that
I think we have
statement,
enough
I
to
feel like
work
we've got-
on. Yeah.
We've got to do it. We've
Yeah.
got to get ahead of this.
Okay.
Ahead of
It's
it.
so discriminatory the way it's
Yes.
written.
Well, it does. I don't really understand that. You can have a special permit process if you want more than 900 square feet, but if you have a small house and it's
Yeah.
more than 50%,
Discriminate.
there's no special permit process? That seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did anyone understand that?
And we just go to the,
I did
get rid of
not.
that 35%,
Oh,
25%.
the adaptive reuse, yeah.
I don't, it's not clear what we're doing with that, but then, so you got 50%, the 25%, the 35%. I've got my calculator out too.
So,
Yeah.
so but that 50% rule where you can't, for the small houses, you can't have a special permit, is that state law or is that?
No, we just don't have a provision in our bylaw
Okay.
that allows a
Okay.
special permit path for those smaller.
So we would need to, we could do that by revising
Yes.
our bylaws, okay.
But then too, the math gets really wonky of if you have a bigger house and you want more than 900 square feet, so you come to us for a special permit, you're restricted to 25% of your square footage.
That's where I'm getting to the
So
second
like
math.
the math doesn't like it doesn't work out. It's really wonky. And I think my opinion is it needs to be revised.
So if you have a 4,000 square foot house, you can come here and ask for a 1,000 square foot
You could.
ADU.
So if you have
But nothing
4,000
more than that.
if you have a 4,000 square
That's
foot
right.
house, you can have a 900 square foot ADU by right.
Right.
And then, yeah, you could have a maximum of a 1,000 square foot
So
ADU
you'd have to come
And
here
that would
and
be
get
by
the
special permit.
via special.
Right. You got it.
And sorry, is that town bylaw or?
That's
oh,
in
it
our,
is?
that's,
We did, so that's not state.
and then unless it's historical, you can go to 35%.
Did they do that?
I think the
30, so if
original
you had a
intent was to
4,000
keep them
square foot
proportional
historical
to the size
farm,
of the house,
you get 35%.
but with all the
not
changes,
1,000
it's just
square
not
feet.
really equitable.
I don't know what the thinking is. But I don't know if we can tell people how much of their home can be an apartment. That's kind of,
All right, let's move along.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. That's,
If you
we're
can-
not
Get
gonna,
on with it.
we're not gonna be able
I
to
gave
settle that
blood
tonight.
today. That's where I gave blood.
So-
I had
No, you're-
cataract surgery last.
All right, so what, the only agenda item left is upcoming meetings. So we have January 21st,
Yeah.
and we just have one item on the agenda right now.
Yeah. So January 21st, we only have 250 Turnpike, the 40B. We can, if you want to really dive into ADU, we'll have to maybe have time. I don't know, depending on how much they come in for.
It
250
really, yeah, we see
But,
what happens.
Yeah, the other piece of that is the meeting schedule for 2026. I just need a date for February because our usual meeting date would fall within a February break.
Okay, that's usually a
Um,
problem.
Yeah, so we'd be looking at the 11th or the 25th instead of the 18th.
18th is, oh, I'm in the wrong month. 18th is what I got.
I wouldn't care either way if it's
I-
sooner or later.
I also don't have a preference.
Got 2 trips booked out.
Okay.
All right,
Now I'm getting my eyes done on the, I have to have, no, my other eye, I had my lens replaced last week. I'm not-
and when's
That's
that?
gonna be too tough for me to do the 25th. I just, that's what everybody wants. But I had cataract surgery last week,
Okay,
so I'm having it the 24th.
I could do the 11th, so. just
I could do the 11th. I know how I felt after this cataract surgery, so I'm not good.
okay.
the
So
25th.
then
The 11th is fine.
the 11th is fine?
Doug,
Mike, you
do
can
have
make
a
it work?
preference?
The 11th is fine. Either date's fine for me, but I can do the 11th.
You can do the 11th, but either date.
Okay, let's make it
So
the
you want to
11th.
do the 11th?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And then are you guys okay with me posting that meeting schedule for
Uh,
2026?
Where, sorry, do you have that up on the,
I can share it.
where's it available?
It's in the general folder in the SharePoint, but I'll
General.
put it up on the screen. I think February was the only time that we needed to decide. Because I think other than that, we skipped all the holidays.
Oh,
When's our
general.
January meeting?
January 21st.
Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Is it? I have a hard time finding it.
I just want to get this up so everybody can see the filing deadlines.
Yeah, May 20th, I think will be a problem for me.
Which one?
May 20th.
Oh.
Already booked to be away. I don't know if it's possible to make that the 27th.
Any days, fine with me.
27th is fine for me.
You Good?
Sure.
Like when you go to the dentist and they're like, what are you doing in 6 months?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have no idea.
Here, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Any other dates that jump out to anybody?
We checked that April break is not the 15th, it's the following week.
I don't believe it is. I think
Okay, I
April
don't
break
know.
is, yeah, I have it in as the following week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Luckily, none of these fall on my kids' birthdays, so that
Yeah.
won't happen
See
again.
what
That
happens.
way you're
I
not,
know.
you're not subject to me trying to run the meeting by myself.
Dated, like, draft bylaws.
Did we say we're changing May to the 27th?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we do the write-up for the decision, send me.
I'll send you what I sent.
Try to
So,
redo some stuff.
Dude, yesterday
and
was
then
crazy.
Okay.
Okay.
So you do have annual report on the agenda?
Oh, yeah. This was more just like an update for the annual report. So I drafted most of it. I'm gonna finish it up next week. This is just, typically what it includes is all of our applications that we had for the year, which this has been the busiest year since 2008 for ZBA.
Really?
So
Wow.
yay you.
Hey, maybe we're all getting a raise.
Yeah, you do.
Yes,
you
we're getting a
do.
bonus.
I don't like to use the word hero, but
No, but
The
it's,
shoe fits, Mike.
yeah, it's been mostly multiple uses and signs have been the theme of the year. Also, I like to call out different accomplishments from the board, so I wanted to see if there's anything in particular that you guys wanted to throw in there. I'm going to throw Paul in there because you're celebrating your 10-year anniversary.
Wow, Paul, long term, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the longest
I
15
thi- I
years of
don't
my
know.
life.
That's what the town clerk has on file, is that you were originally appointed in August of 2015. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh my God, no, David, you too.
I was gonna say, it feels like I've been on for 10 years.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, my Lord. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
community service, man.
look at that.
That's why when it's up, it's up.
You're not allowed to leave.
Oh, my God.
So if there's nothing else you guys
So-
want to add in there, then I'm good.
That's you, Paul. It's go time.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion to adjourn has been made with a second. All in favor, respond with aye. Opposed, nay. Jamie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Doris? Mike? Doug?
Aye.
Williams, aye. Thank you very much. That closes our meeting.